Let me get this set up. Some new information I've been getting into I want to drop. So y'all probably heard of the Emancipation Proclamation. I've been studying the 1800s heavy. And it led me into the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln and all of that. And slavery is what I want to kind of focus on. Is like, what is slavery? Like, what really happened? I never really talked about this, but like, what really happened in metaphysics, according to metaphysics, or what you would call, not really metaphysics, but the akasha records, I guess, call it that. According to the akasha records, what really happened in slavery? Was it really slaves and all of that? And the answer to it is like, it wasn't, from my research, though, in the 1800s when they finally freed the slaves, it wasn't really the fact that they were slaves in the sense of physical at that time, like physical slavery, in chains. It was a scenario dealing with units, essentially, in sports. There was a group of people that were tired of betting and tired of being a part of the trading, and because when you get into betting, it slowly leads into slavery. Because what happens? You start losing, you build up a tab. Now you owing people money and stuff like that. So they was like, we don't want to bet anymore. Like, they got tired of that. So they decided they don't want to do it, and eventually those people that were still participating considered them slaves because they owed money. And they considered themselves, of course, non-slaves because they felt like their stock and their land, this is when you get into like the 40 acres and a mule and all that. They felt like what they had on cash on hand should have been enough for them not to participate in gaming. So that's what this was really about. And you had another group of people that were into this because this was what was called units. So Abraham Lincoln was persecuted, but he freed them. He gave them a way to exist outside of units. He created a way. He was a master monetizer, is what I call it. He was a master monetizer. He created a way for them, and he was eventually, I think, shot for it or something, but I'm not going to go into the way because this is when you get into like extraterrestrial information, but he created a high level way, actually, a spiritual way for them to get out of this thing. But it didn't work. And they ended up being pulled back into it. And this is when you get into what happened in 1933 when they were taking off the gold standard and put it into debt, and they were pulled back into it. So I'm going to back up eventually and talk about Walt Disney. I'm still going to talk about it. Miami Heat and what happened with that, how this relates to all of this. Because there's a secret about the underworld that Abraham Lincoln cracked. And later on passes information to Walt Disney and them in a different dimension. And they were able to create an economy that was separate from this. They had to participate in these games and stuff. And it still exists to this day, and we'll get more into what that is, and what monetization, how that links into it in the future. I just want to kind of introduce the topic to you. Hopefully you gain some knowledge from this. And as always, keep studying. Stay vigilant.